Welcome once again to the PLA podcast, everyone. We have no other than an incredible guest here. So lovely to have you on, Rao. Welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya.
It's a true
Um,
to yeah, sorry, go on.
no, as I'm just saying that thank you, Dunya. I'm so excited to have conversation with you.
Oh, I'm very excited to interview you and go through your incredible journey and story and all your wisdom that you have to share with our audience today. I'd love to introduce you more formally to the audience and run them through who you are at the core, everything that you've been through. So I'd love to just take a moment and say, meet RaoVeerapaneni. SAP lead developer with 20 plus years of experience in implementation, support, and enhancements across industries including medical, defense, electrical, chemical, and technology. Expertise spans multiple SAP domains: SAP technical, order to cash, procurement to pay, extended warehouse management, and financial. Professional experience across the globe with India, Singapore, Malaysia, New Zealand, and the USA. Worked with leading organizations such as Ministry of Defense of Singapore, Sony Electronics, PepsiCo, McAfee, Frontier Communications, Medtronic, CF Solutions, Canon, and Medline. Holds a master's in computer applications at the University of Madras and a bachelor in science from Kakatiya University in Telangana. Passionate about badminton, gardening, and volunteering, and actively contributes to community associations and temples. Inspired by the words of Swami Vivekananda, arise, awake, stop not until your goal is achieved. He aspires to become a recognized SAP thought leader while living a simple, values driven lifestyle. So lovely to have you on here, Rao. Welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunya.
I'd love to ask you take us to the very beginning of your career and where it all started. I'd love to get to know the very start of your story.
Sure. Thanks for asking that question. Um, I will go to my journey like childhood days, if you're okay, and then
Absolutely.
start from there. Yeah. I was born in a small village, and my father is a farmer, and my mother also helped my dad on agriculture. So my village, we have like 1 to 5th grade elementary school. So 6th grade, if I want to study, I had to travel like 6 miles on a bike. I mean, 2 ways. And that's the time my grandfather, one day he came to my house and he was asking me what you are planning to do. And then my mom's dad is a grandfather. So, and then I told him that I had to travel like 6 miles to study my 6th grade. Then he thought, okay, this is not right way because I may spend a lot of time in commute. Then he thought, why don't you come to my home there in that place? In that place, the high schools are there where my grandfather stays. So then I said, okay, I don't know, but at that age, I said, okay, because I want to study. And that's that's a change maybe in my life a little bit in the education. And also at that age, I was missing my family, my friends there. um, and then that like 20 miles away from my home. um, and new environment, new friends there, new school. And it took me like few months to settle down. Guess what? And I think the 7th standard, I got school first. And and it didn't stop there. And I went to 10th grade, and in 10th standard, I got Mandal first. It's a Mandal, like Mandal has a few schools. Out of that school, I got a first rank. So
Incredible.
that gave me the forward movement in education. I didn't look back after that. So then I completed my graduation, uh, undergraduation in Telugu medium. And then after that, I was thinking what to do. And that's the time I was thinking like to settle down, like what major I should select, what need to do in masters. So that's the time, I think, late 2000s around. IT boom was there. Everyone IT boom, and then even government was encouraging to those days study, information technology. The infrastructure is establishing in this, the place where I born in southern India, right? So then realized that, okay, I should I somehow I got interested in the computers, so I joined in computer application in out of state. So, and then I completed my masters, um, and the recession started. And my journey was not easy from that time after completing my masters. And my father was spent like almost all his savings for my education, especially for the studying masters. So, and then there's market is too bad and no employment opportunities available. Uh, and then what I decided is, let's, instead of instead of just being idle, I joined as a faculty in college faculty. But that was not my aim is wants to become a software developer.
Mm.
So I was working as a um, lecturer. I was teaching to MSIS, which is again the masters there. Um, so I was teaching to them, and I was learning at the same time parallelly, updating my skills. And I was touch with my friends, like how the market is there, because the college is just near to my village, which is far from city. So I don't know what's going on in the market at that time. So I was in touch with friends, and then I think 1 year after completing 1 year as a faculty, market was picking up slowly, and then I start applying their jobs again, IT, because that's where my aim is to become a software developer. I didn't stop there as a lecturer. And I got the job in Mumbai. And I think I was there like 2 months for just for visa processing to
Mm.
Singapore.
Wow.
That was I because the company which hired me, they they asked me to go to Singapore to
Mm.
work there. So I didn't have much experience. I didn't have experience. I was uncertainty and scared a little bit, but that was international opportunity. So I said, okay, I want to go there. Um, and that's the first time I think ever I got into flight.
Mm.
I landed in Singapore, and again, new environment, new culture, um, and I was working. I mean, I was learned. Basically, I didn't have much experience at that time, right? So I was learned their SAP ABAP, SAP skills, and then SAP technical skills, and I worked there. And while working in Singapore, I got opportunity to work in New Zealand and Malaysia at client places. So that was international approach, international opportunities. And then again, I got client places in other two countries from Singapore. And and that time I want to explore in the world.
Mm.
I was thinking that, I want to go to America. That was like somehow like become a dream. I, so then 2011, mid of 2011, I landed in USA. I
Amazing.
worked almost all global clients here, top companies. I learned lot of things in SAP, especially. I become expert, experts like sales and distribution, order to cash, procurement pay, and extended warehouse management and finance modules. All these modules, I got experience, and now um, I'm looking for like SAP thought leader in that area. So that's a pretty much on my side.
Incredible. Rao, I would be curious to know, listening to your story that, starts really in a small village with this opportunity from your grandpa to be able to reduce the commute, time, and then leading you to bigger cities, international opportunities, getting on your first flight and envisioning America even, and all of this unfolding to leading you in the US. I'd be curious to know if you, knowing everything that you know now, with your experience, career, personal, professional, all your wisdom, What is one piece of advice you wish someone had told you at the very beginning?
That's a good question. Um, so don't be afraid to take risk. That's what I
Mm,
would say that.
so
Because
good.
I was, while moving to one place to another place, I was uncertainty and a little bit scary, those things, right? So I would say that I would tell myself that don't be afraid to take risks.
So good. Yeah, I think that such a simple piece of advice is not always easy to implement because so many of us are afraid of making mistakes. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of the consequences of these risks. And we don't realize the opportunity and payout of taking these, taking these risks and being bold and courageous until a lot of things end up playing themselves out. So I think that such a simple piece of advice that oftentimes is challenging to implement is so, so valuable and so true.
Yeah,
Amazing. Yeah.
absolutely.
I'd be curious, Rao. Also, my second question that I love asking on this podcast has been, what were the biggest challenges of your career and the difficulties, and how have you overcome them? Like, what were things that on your journey you were like, you know what? If out of all things, those were my challenges.
Yeah, there's so many challenges I faced in professionally and personally. So the professionally, I can say um, one of the thing is perfectionism. Sometimes I get into too much in the tasks, spend a lot of time and that. So the situation happened where I missed the deadlines, right?
That's
So
yeah.
that even not only that, I missed the opportunities actually
Mm,
because I want to get into too much detail, and even I want to apply for job, but I feel like I was not perfect for that, right?
wow.
So that perfectionism trap, I was there in that trap, and I realized at some point, especially at the starting of my career. So I one of the mentor told me that so it's okay, done is better than perfect. So
Mm,
and he guided me, like, break the tasks into small things,
yeah.
and so that I can overcome that. So that's how I implemented that strategy. If there is anything, a big task, break into small tasks and complete small instead of making the big one and you know getting delayed in the deliverables.
Absolutely. So many out there, and I'm sure so many people listening to this recording can relate to this analysis paralysis where they're overthinking and constantly trying to refine and refine and refine rather than putting it out there imperfectly, knowing that, it's sometimes done is better than perfect, like you said, and like you shared, your mentor had shared with you one day.
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, Dunya, what happens is this, um, perfectionism sometimes leads to the procrastination as well.
So
So
true.
that happened to me. So then I realized that and then by implementing that strategy, I overcome that challenge.
Yeah, incredible. I think that that's so true. So many of us think it's procrastination, but it's really perfectionism, undercover. And
Yeah,
it's a delaying of putting things out there.
right,
Oh,
absolutely.
amazing. And I'd be curious to know, what have been some strategies that have been really helpful to you in the last few years of your career that have led you to really overcome that and just keep that in check in so many ways?
Yeah. um so things is what I can say is um listen not to reply,
Mm, that's so good. Yeah.
think at it, and reflect on it, and then reply it.
Mm.
That's a thing I followed it, and it helps me a lot these days. So
I love that. That's such a good piece of advice that we oftentimes forget is like listening to understand versus waiting for that moment to reply and not actually listening fully. And that is such a skill that we need to learn in our careers and even in our personal life. When we come home, it's a lot easier to build a better relationship to our spouse, to our children, when we're taking the time to really understand them.
Yeah, true.
And so that's amazing. I'd be curious also to know there's so many changes happening in the industry right now, and all industries really are facing this major disruption, and in some ways for good and for bad. I'd be curious to get your perspective on what do you think about this whole piece on AI and how AI is changing the world today and the way we see work.
Yeah, that was great question. So this is like a buzzword these days, right? Everyone's talking about AI. Um, frankly speaking, no one knows where this AI taking to the human next level, right? And so much happening, no doubt.
Yes.
But some people, there's some myths going on, like AI is going to replace the jobs, but
Mm.
the reality is not, right? AI is going to help us, our productivity, and making us more productivity, and it automate the repetitive jobs what we are doing. And definitely is AI wave, right? So what I can see in the pattern last last few decades, right? There's a pattern going on, the technology revolution. Uh, like that, AI is also one of the revolution we can say, because if you look at late 1990s, internet revolution happened, and then next decade, like phones came into picture, and then now AI revolution is there. Maybe next quantum computer is coming up. So this doesn't stop, because this is how innovation is happening, right? This is to improve our lives. So if you think positive way, AI is going to improve our lives. Today I attend one session actually, so it's really awesome. I mean, I'm still exploring, and the way they explain, it's AI is just, you can delegate your tasks basically, you, because everyone has so many things to do in life, right? Maybe some of the things which is not important, or you can prioritize the tasks and you can assign to AI. Can will do automatically and give it the results for you. And one pretty thing what I have seen is email meetings, right? So you don't need to attend meetings because you are busy with other meeting. You can assign these tasks to AI will summarize and give you the feedback on what happened that meeting and what the things you need to follow up later. So
Amazing.
that's the beauty of AI. So if you think that way, right? So my vision is, I started exploring AI. I'm in SAP basically, so I'm exploring in my domain how AI can infuse into the SAP technologies,
Yeah.
because most of the applications right now, most of the software applications, they already have their own AI tools infused it. So similar way, SAP also has their AI, their roadmaps in AI, AI roadmap in their software development. Uh, so they are, so they already have the AI toolkit in there, and there's some models available, foundation models. So I'm exploring on those, how we can infuse those AI into SAP to make automate the SAP business process.
Amazing.
And yeah, so there's so much, like I heard something like from NVIDIA CEO says that um, AI is for everyone. It's not for developers. It's not for everything. AI is everywhere. It seeps into industry, every industries, from medical, healthcare, transportation, whatnot. All the industries now, AI is there, right? And especially technology developers is also going to impact AI. And the way he mentioned is, I like one statement. Um, Only one programming is like programming language is required in future. That is English language. So
Yeah.
every human can execute AI, and everyone can. That's a beauty, right? Because you don't need to know any programming language. That's how he put it. But that's true some extent, I'm sure. But yeah, still there's so much innovation is coming up in AI. It may not replace human right now. Maybe in future we don't know. Still, that human touch, emotions is not at there, I believe. So we don't know. In future it may replace it. But yeah,
Incredible. I think that you're so right. The piece on remembering that it's actually touching every single industry. And it's not actually limited to those that are in tech, that are developers, that every single industry is going to be changed, is going to be forever changed, really, from the introduction of AI. And if we can allow ourselves to start implementing it as best as we can, no matter what our career is, the more helpful and the more proactive we will be with this incredible change that has come across the world. It's been an
yeah, true.
exciting time, and yes, and it's been lovely to hear about how you've been, working with it yourself in your own career and your own specialty. I am curious, we talk about the future of AI, we talk about the future of what's coming. I'm always excited to know what people are most excited about for their careers in terms of legacy and impact they're still looking forward to leaving behind as the years keep going on.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, what would be your excitement? Like, what are the things that excite you about the legacy and impact that you would like to leave still in your career?
Yeah, sure. Um, so the legacy when you talk, especially in ERP, right? I'm working on SAP. So having 20 years of experience, I've seen so many ERP system which has the legacy systems last 3 decades, um, because customization is introduced. And so those systems, how can we make it to those into um, AI, new technologies. So that's where I'm these days. Actually, I'm learning and AI clean code. Sorry, that's SAP clean code we call it. That's how we can implement those strategies and make these ERPs into the you know AI compatibility, or how can we implement AI tools on the ERP system by implementing the clean core strategy. So that's what I'm planning next time. Next time want to become like ERP leader, those areas. So implementing the new technologies into SAP systems. Yeah.
Incredible and so exciting. I know you've invested so much in your growth and your evolution, and you're so committed to learning personally and professionally. As we're on the PLA podcast, I'd love to know what has been your experience with PLA ever since you've joined the program.
Oh, that's a good question. Mm. PLA PLA changes life actually. So I can say PLA is a one-stop solution for many things,
Mm,
because it's not just one. PLA helps in communication. It helps in leadership skills, and it helps as how to become human, perfect human, right? So that's the beauty of this PLA courses, and I like that. I enjoyed it. um, I think the reason I joined, I was attending the session with Vamsi and Venkat, Brendan on that day, and it inspires me the way they explained how what's their framework, how they
mm,
can change our mindset, and how they can make into put it into action. So the one quote I like is, um, knowing and not implementing is not knowing.
mm.
So that means knowing not putting into action is nothing but not knowing. That's really inspired me. And yeah, so i I highly recommend PLA, because it changed the life. It changed not only professional life, it changed your personal life as well. I benefited really. I'm using 100% of this, what they teach, and utilizing those frameworks and implementing in my life.
Rao, it's so well said in so many ways. Like you said, it actually impacts every single facet of our life. Really, like you said, that piece around not only professionally, but also personally. And it allows you to really tune into putting into practice the theory that so many of us know we should be putting into practice, but holding us accountable, giving us good mentorship, a community also of like-minded individuals. It's been amazing to have you in the community in PLA and seeing your growth and evolution. And so excited to see it continue to flourish and expand as time goes on.
Absolutely.
So, Rao, I would love to hear if you had any piece of advice for anyone that's just, starting their career in tech and is just getting started. What would you tell them today before we wrap things up for the episode?
So I tell that PLA is the place where they change your mindset and they will put you into the action. They're the one. If you don't know, I mean, you're struggling with your career, you don't know what to do. PLA will help you. It's not just motivation. They will make you into the action. And yeah, so I highly recommend it to, if you need anything, join in PLA. I'm sure they will help you. Whatever the goals you have, you will reach.
Oh, incredible, Rao. I love that. I think that accountability and the action portion of this work is probably one of the most important parts because it's so, like you said, you can know, but if you don't take action, it's worse than not knowing. So it's been an absolute
Right.
pleasure having you join us and sharing your wisdom, your story, your insights with us on the PLA podcast. Absolutely loved it and hope to have you again shortly to interview you once again. Thank you for your time. And to anyone listening in the audience, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the comments below. I will put on the screen the PLA workshop. So if you are curious about this workshop, the webinar, it's free. You feel free to scan this with the QR code with your phone. You'll get all the insights and data and information on when the next one will be hosted so you can find out all about PLA and this incredible community that has connected Rao and I and this amazing work that has been PLA. It's been amazing to have you, Rao. Any last words before we close things off today?
Thanks, Tanya. Thanks for taking time for me to take this podcast. I really enjoyed.
It was amazing to have you on here and truly looking forward to having you on again as a guest. And for everyone listening to the audio and recording, thank you for joining us. And we'll catch you all on the next PLA podcast. Have a beautiful day.